Hi everyone, my name is Molly Altamare, and this is my final project for Japanese Cultures 332 at Oregon State University. I did my project on sumo wrestling. What is sumo wrestling, you might be wondering? Sumo wrestling is much more than just two Japanese men fighting each other, as most people think when they think of sumo. Sumo is a symbolic representation of the Japanese culture and their traditions. It is a full contact and competitive sport, and sumo wrestling is also Japan's national sport. A little history about sumo. Sumo wrestling dates back about 2,000 years ago, but it didn't become a spectator sport until about the early 1600s. Sumo wrestling is the world's oldest organized sport, and Japanese sumo wrestling was said to have evolved from different types of wrestling from other countries such as Mongolia, Korea, and China. One of the earliest mentions of sumo wrestling was in the year 712 in the Kojiki, which is the record of ancient matters. The Japanese did not keep any written records until the 8th century, so we can only base our knowledge on sumo from legend. Part of the legend within this book says that 2,500 years ago, the gods grappled on the shores of Izumo along the Japan Sea, which is now Shamina-ken, until the latter finally lost. Thus control of the archipelago was ceded to the Japanese people led by Take Mikazuki, which is said to have established the imperial family from which the present emperor traces his ancestry. In the early years of sumo wrestling was performed to pray for good harvest. Sumo also represented the Shinto religion, and it started out as a ritual during Shinto ceremonies as a way to entertain the gods or Shinto deities. One of the main aspects of sumo wrestling is the use of purification. Purification ceremonies like salt purifications and other traditional Shinto rituals were used during Shinto celebrations that are still used in sumo to this day. One of the most important ones is salt purification, which is done before every single sumo wrestling match. As you can see in the picture below, he's throwing the salt in the air, which purifies. Sumo wrestling is very spiritual and symbolic of many things within the Japanese culture. The ring in which the wrestlers perform, called dohyo, symbolizes a couple different things within the Japanese culture. One of the things it symbolizes is sanitation and purification. The dohyo is an elevated ring made of clay and it's covered in sand. A lot of people say that the sand symbolizes sanitation from the Shinto religion. Another way the dohyo is used as symbolism is that it's known as the psychological place where the struggle between the gods and demons take place, the heart. The ring is shape of a square with a circle inside of it, and it's said to be designed after a coin water basin, which is the shape of a circle with a square inside of it. The water basin has engravings of Japanese kanji that read, "Self knows only contentment." This means that when you're at peace with your higher self, or if your higher self is currently present, the only thing that it knows is contentment. And you'll see a picture of the dohyo, which is a square with a circle inside of it, and the Japanese water basin, which is a circle with a square inside of it, and the kanji reads, "Self knows only contentment." Sumo is also obviously a sport. It has become a full contact and competitive sport over the years through its transformation. Sumo literally means to mutually rush at. Wrestlers in the sport are called rikishi, which means strong man. The rikishi stay in stables called heiya, where they live, sleep, eat, and they train for sumo matches. The rikishi wake up very early in the morning to eat and train for matches. There are no specified weight classes or restrictions in the art of sumo, therefore sumo wrestling depends heavily on weight gain. Any kind of wrestler can be paired up with anyone, even if they're 3 times your size. That's why it's very important to gain weight for sumo wrestling. The hierarchy in which rikishi are ranked and classified is called banzuke. The Banzuke is updated after every tournament, and Rikishi are hired or lowered based on their performance during that match. The top two divisions of sumo are Makuuchi and Juryo. The ultimate level that one person can achieve in sumo wrestling is the Grand Champion Sumo Wrestler, otherwise known as the Yokozuna. Overall, sumo wrestling is a very sacred and important part of the Japanese culture. It represents more than just a wrestling competition. It also stands for strength, honor, and a symbolic representation of the Japanese culture overall. Thank you for viewing my presentation on sumo wrestling today. I hope you've learned something new and that you have a better understanding and higher appreciation for sumo. Thank you.